This is Face to Face. Live from the Brooklyn Podcast Studio, your hosts, Nesta Can and Caprice Rogers.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Face to Face Reloaded. Yours truly, Nesta Can, alongside Caprice Rogers.
That's me.
And we have a special guest.
Special
guest.
And out of nowhere. A bit of surprise to me, too.
Yeah, we kind of caught him off guard. That's true.
Josh Wilcox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh.
Josh.
Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. So, you want to start off?
You have been our engineer for some time. You've also helped me, and you've actually taught me a lot of stuff, techniques that I use still to this day.
Yeah, I could tell there's a difference between the last time, because you guys recently kind of came back to the studio.
Yes, we did.
It feels different in a good way.
And I definitely retained what you said because it makes sense. And I'm kind of starting to figure out that you are a man of a lot, like you pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I think largely it came from my background first in music, I would say. Like I worked in the music industry for about 8 or 9, no, probably like a decade or so, decade plus.
Okay.
And, you know, when you work on music, and I was an audio engineer by trade, like I went to school for it.
Oh, nice.
And I also went to school for a little bit of music theory and stuff like that. But, you know, I think having to really listen intently in a different way, and not to say that you don't have to have the same attention to detail in podcasting, but I probably say like that attention to detail in music really helped hone a lot of the skills that I was able to transfer when I made the transition to podcasting.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that like a passion that was always in you? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, like so I got into music through DJing. I'll tell a brief. Yeah. I have it's funny because it's like when I look back on my backstory now, it's like there's a lot of things that I'm just like, oh, that is kind of interesting. But I DJ'd. DJing actually got me into everything. Pretty much set me up for everything that happened in my life professionally. Yeah. After that, but essentially, my brother. I'm pretty sure he stole some DJ equipment from a party when he was good in college. He went to the University of New Mexico. Wow. He brought that gear back with him and then needed some money and sold me a whole bunch of like really terrible gear, but it was enough to get me started for like $70. He sold me a whole setup for $70, and
it was like vinyl. Or
it was vinyl. Man. Yeah. Stacks. He didn't have that many records, but I ended up collecting records. I still collect records to this day. Nice. And then I DJ'd some parties, and then DJing got me interested in production. And
this is a cool origin story.
Yeah, it got me interested in production, and you know, I was like a big boom bap producer, like Jay Dilla and all that stuff. Doom, Farside. I'm originally from outside of Philadelphia, so like the Roots were big, and Questlove was a big influence too. So, but music is really how I got into pretty much everything. Yeah,
that's where it starts.
That's where it started. Yeah.
See that multi-dimensional. See, there's many layers to this, brother. Okay?
Have you ever thought about getting into anything like film or anything like that?
Ooh, good question.
It's funny you mention that because it's something that I think about now. Because I think a lot of people who, you know, I've owned Brooklyn Podcasting Studio for like 7 or 8 years now.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Plug your spot.
No, it's all right.
We're gonna get to that.
So I'm the owner and operator of Brooklyn Podcasting
You're damn right.
Studio.
Let's go. Let's go. Hold on. I'm bidding you. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's nice to be a guest in my own space.
Yeah, that's right. This is his space. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, but sorry, what was the question? To see,
you ever thought about getting into like?
Oh yeah, you know it's funny. Like many people view me as many different things. Like some people view me as a podcast coach, which I am. A lot of people view me as an audio engineer, which I also am. A lot of people view me as a content producer, which I don't do as much today, but I do help guide a lot of people with their content. So like I don't create any content at the moment with anybody in particular, but at the same time, like I have a really good grasp of knowing, for lack of better words, like what's good.
That's good.
And for lack of better words, I would say that's actually probably my greatest gift, is just sort of like knowing what's good. And in terms of like sort of like my transition from DJing to audio engineering to producing to now to podcasting, and then podcasting also like you guys know in the studio I take a lot of pictures, which
Right.
I'm sure, which I'm
Oh,
sure,
photography.
yeah. So I do
right.
it. So people know me as a photographer. Some people know me as a
Right.
videographer now that we've been doing so many video pods.
So you're a jack of all trades.
So I'm kind of a jack of all trades. Yeah.
And this is what you gotta be.
In this day and age, to make money, I feel like
Yeah,
you got to
that's
be.
true.
I mean,
That's
you guys were
another
talking
reason.
about it in your last episode,
It's
like,
true.
in terms of like multitudes.
It's very true.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
100%. I like that. So can you tell me why TikTok is so addictive? What's the truth behind it? Like, what's your analysis? Because I'm addicted to TikTok.
Really?
Why? I love TikTok. I'm responsible with it, but I love it. It's my favorite app. Why is that? What is happening to me?
I mean, you're talking to a 40-year-old man here. So like for me, like it's funny. My wife is real addicted to TikTok. I'm not that addicted to TikTok or most of the social media.
I never knew
Really?
I never knew you could shop on TikTok too.
Yeah, you could do.
I don't do that.
Yeah. Like the studio has a TikTok that I never post to, and because I'm just
follow it.
I'm just like never on there, to be completely honest. I mean, but I think it's mostly just addictive because people are just looking for things to escape. People are just looking to be entertained.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I'm personally like the things that are most engaging for me are not just to be sitting there. I mean, I'm not trying to say I don't have my moments on my phone
Yeah,
where I
of course,
just
of
veg,
course. I think
where
we
I
all
just
do,
where I just veg out. But you won't be catching me on there for like hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Like I for me, I think I can go like 45 minutes in a day max, and then after that, like I'm good.
You're satisfied?
Yeah, like I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, do you ever think of like getting into writing, like writing skits? Because you was talking about videography and all that stuff. Like, do you think you would be interested in writing a skit or something, and then kind of like filming it or something like that?
It's funny. Like, I have ideas about producing shows. Like,
Okay.
I am thinking about producing a show of my own. Around podcast education, and because right now, like, I have a course that's out that I've done a terrible job of marketing.
Please.
Well,
Please.
it's called Be Heard Volume 1. It's for anybody out there who, if you are tuning into this right now, if you're a podcaster, whether you're just starting out or you're somebody that's been in podcasting but you're just really frustrated with why your podcast isn't working, and you just want to avoid all the sort of what I consider to be hidden barriers to what is hindering your content from really resonating with your audience.
Yeah.
I've recorded probably, maybe 4,000 podcast episodes and counting.
I was going to ask you that question.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, but I've recorded a ton of podcast episodes, and so for me, like, in terms of creating content, in terms of writing and stuff like that, like, I have some maybe creative endeavors that I think about from time to time, but like for what I actually think what I'm most best at is being the editor for somebody else, which is a reason why, I think I've been so I'm really good at being able to help people. Like, one thing, I mean, I probably shouldn't admit this, but like one of the things I used to do back in the day, I used to write papers for people,
that's dope.
for money. So,
Like, that's dope.
So,
that's dope. You got to get it.
so like,
AI before AI.
yeah.
All right. I like that.
Yeah. What's going on? So like I've always been a good writer, but like I don't necessarily. It's not to say that I don't have any good ideas or anything like that of my own. It's more or less like I've never really felt all that passionate about any one particular idea that I've had, but I've always felt very passionate about being able to help others.
Right.
Really, because I have a really good gift for being able to see what people are trying to say.
You are good at that. Yes.
And being okay, this is what you're trying to say. Here's a better way to say it, and that's what I really like to focus on. So
I can attest to that because even though I'm not as consistent as I need to be with my own podcast, I'm telling you, and I will never stop giving you flowers on the advice that you gave me, because not only does it not only does it translate to podcasting, it translates to life too, in a way to just kind of be more engaging, and like the way you say something, like words matter and all that stuff. And it was just the advice, especially when you said one of the advice that you gave that really stands out was when you told me to involve the people who are looking, like if to those watching leave a comment, to be engaging like that. That it got us those questions. I strongly
Probably,
believe.
yeah.
You know, because you're planting that
So
seed.
you always remember that when he told you that?
Always.
Yeah,
That was
always.
a while ago, see?
It was a
Stuck
while
with you.
ago.
Yeah,
Right?
you have to
Always.
engage with the audience. It's like a big thing that I tell people. So for anybody, just to give you an example in real life, for anybody out there tuning into this, watching this right now, one of the secret sauces of making really good content is involving people who is involving the audience. Now, granted, there's no audience here,
Right.
but for the people that are tuning in,
Yeah.
they secretly want to be acknowledged whether they realize it or not.
Right.
You know, it's like I always call it a Jedi mind trick. We all secretly love being acknowledged, whether we realize it or not. And
100%,
yeah.
I really did this just from observing other podcasters that I was just like, even ones that I was like not really liking, but I found myself still watching or listening to. Like, for example, like the example that I always give is like, I don't really listen to him so much anymore. It's been many, many years, but like Joe Budden is one of the best
Oh, Joe
examples.
Budden, yeah.
Very
Like
entertaining.
he never forgets that the audience is there, and he always just drops subtle hints to let people know that they're there by being like, you know, he'll be dissing a co-host, be like, nobody out there agrees with you, right?
Oh, and it's the subtle
Subtlety.
things. Yeah,
I never took note
You're
of that.
right.
Yeah.
But it's that,
noticed that.
subtlety that really like brings it back to, oh, we're here together.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Or if you're telling a story, for example, it's just like, let's just say I'm telling a story about like some dumbass cousin that I have or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, if I have a dumbass cousin, be like, oh, I'm sure some of you have a dumbass cousin or a relative out there that does X, Y, and Z. Even if they don't have that, they can imagine that in their minds. So like how it's called, like I said, it's not necessarily what you're saying, but how you're saying it. How you're saying it is almost, if not more important than whatever it is that you're about to say. Because like in my opinion, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this too, it's just like there's so many topics that there's very the chances that you're going to create some content with a topic that's not been covered at all at some point.
You mentioned that too.
Is like everything's been done.
told me that too.
Everything's been done under the sun. So
Yep.
you need to figure out how you can remix stuff in a way that is authentic to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to know your point of view if you're going to be doing something that like this, a conversational slash like sort of cultural podcast. But yeah, like those are the things that I tell people to sort of focus on. And then probably the third sneaky thing is the format. You know, like I don't know. I mean, the format you guys have here is fine. I would say it's
We're freestyling. Be
yeah,
gentle.
I would say it's a more traditional format in the sense of, you know, where I call it like a topic discussion. You guys have a topic, you discuss it. But like there's also other formats of making podcasts that I feel like people can also win on as well by just simply doing something different.
Can you give us some examples of what that format
Sure.
looks like?
So like, for example, what's it called? They don't podcast here anymore, but there was a podcast called Wanna Mash. It was like these two girls, and this what's it called? MASH stands for like mansion, apartment, something, and house. It's like a game that people would play when they were kids. Like, and I don't really know. I wasn't really familiar with this game, but essentially it's like a fortune telling. It's like a fortune telling game. And what they did was they brought in somebody that was essentially there to be a guest, and they would play this game with them, right? And what I thought was cool about it is like essentially what it was a game. It was an interview show disguised as a game show. And essentially,
I love that idea.
So like essentially they're playing this game, and the game will give you some insights into the person's personality. Like, you know, as the game unfolds, you have to make decisions about, would you want this outcome for your life? Would you want that outcome for your life? And it gave them insights, and then they would press in further, you know, and ask some questions and stuff like that. So, you know, another really good example, like I always talk about this example too a lot, even though I think it exists in podcast form now, but Hot Ones, like, you know,
Yeah,
like
That's a fun
that.
show to watch.
Yeah, that show. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Sean Evans is an expert interviewer, and the research team they have there is impeccable.
Yeah.
But like, what the secret sauce to that show is the
secret
it's
sauce.
You're on point.
I said, wow.
You're on point.
I didn't even.
He's cooking.
I didn't even mean to do that.
He's cooking.
But the secret sauce to that show is the fact that it's a game show. It's a interview show disguised as a game show. Like that's what like the game.
makes sense.
The game is what gets people hooked into it. They'll stay for the interview.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they kind of like combine them together.
yeah,
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I never thought of it like that. Yeah,
and there's plenty of other formats out there too. Like I talk about it. I mean, not to plug my course, but I talk a lot about it. I talk a lot about it in my course, Be Heard Volume 1. But like I kind of list out like a bunch of different formats, some of the pros and cons of each of them and stuff like that. But like I tell people all the time, like if you can come up with a real creative format for your podcast, that can be the differentiator between you and everybody else, as opposed to trying to find some super original topic that like.
Now I'm sorry. Real quick, do you think that you have to? What's the question? Okay. Do you think that sometimes that can come across as gimmicky? Have you seen that before?
I mean, do I think it come? I think it can come across as gimmicky, but I think at the end of the day, like it really all depends upon how you're able to do everything else with the if you're doing everything else with the podcast well. Like for example, like that Wanna Mash podcast wouldn't work if they hadn't picked a good guest. It wouldn't have worked if they hadn't. It wouldn't have worked if they hadn't done the research on the person that they were doing on the research on the person that they were interviewing. It wouldn't have worked if they hadn't spent the time to sort of building up chemistry between the two hosts and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like if you're doing everything else right, like it's not going to come across as gimmicky.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Do you believe that some people say a podcast should have like a certain topic all the time? Like it's supposed to be like when you tune into the podcast, you know what you're getting all the time. Like if it's about news or this or that.
I don't think it's a great question, by the way. I don't necessarily think it needs to be the same topic every time. Even though if it is, that's fine. Like some people, like for example, if you're doing a different style of podcast where, like, let's just say you're an expert in a certain field. You don't, like, let's say you're a doctor talking about, I don't know, foot surgeries or something like that. You know, if you start talking about dating advice, that's weird. Like, you don't need to, you know, like, you don't need to be doing that. You know? But, so, like, having a very focused, it just all depends upon what your objective is. But what I would say is for anybody that, you know, one of the things that I always tell people to stray away from is, and this is like a cliche thing to say, where people are like, "Oh, I want to talk about everything," but a podcast about everything is a podcast about nothing. Like, you know, it becomes very hard to find your audience because, you know, and people, to your point, like you said, they're not going to know what to come to you for.
Yeah, I know. That's
so it doesn't necessarily need to be the same topic every time. But here's the thing: people need to know and feel what your point of view is.
Right. Okay.
You know, I think that's ultimately the most important thing. People need to have a clear understanding that they're getting something from you, have a clear understanding what your point of view is, and that your point of view is something that is very specific that they can only get with you and not anywhere else. You know, and that's a hard, and I'll be honest with you, for anybody that's like, okay, I hear you, Josh, but like, how do I actually go about doing that?
Tell us how.
Yeah. So like, I just want to give you an example real quick. And I'm going to see if I can remember this off the top of the dome, because like I made this, PDF for people. It's like 6 hidden mistakes that podcasters make, and you can actually find this on the Brooklyn Podcasting website, by the way. If anybody wants to go download it, it's completely free.
Yes, please do it.
But one of the examples that I give there is about to essentially find what your point of view is and how do you express it in a way. And one of the things I challenge people to do is to come up with like a sales pitch essentially for your podcast, and a way to describe your podcast in like 2 to 3 sentences that will get people's attention. Like that, right? So the example that, if I'm remembering right, the example that I gave was, let's just say the name of the podcast was called Father Time NYC, right? And it's a podcast about 3 dads who are in there like around my age, and I'm not a dad, by the way, so at least I hope not.
All right, sir, you gonna be on the map for that?
At least I hope not. Hope no secret families out there. But let's go. So it's 3 dads who are doing a podcast together. It's called Father Time NYC, and the pitch for it, if I can remember it correctly, is like, come join us. Come join 3 dads who are, and come join 3 dads who are 3 guys who are just past their prime, stressed out, but trying to figure it out in the busiest city on planet Earth.
Oh, that hooks me.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
That hooks me.
You know,
I like the fact that the humility in it is like, oh, past their prime. It's like, who are these guys?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
like
you know,
that.
and granted, like I know I didn't say it exactly how I wrote it. How I wrote it was even better than that, but it has to be something that is 2 things: clear and compelling.
Yeah.
That compelling.
Oh, shoot.
So there's
this guy.
So there's a lot of people that I feel like clarity first of all, there's a lot of people with podcasts where it's very unclear. But so clarity is paramount. That is number one. The compelling part is the thing that most people struggle with though, because they don't know what's going on. And that's the thing that I feel like I help people out with the most. And that compelling thing, it could be anything. Like, notice I just said, like, all I did was just focus on their perspectives, but trying to frame it in a way that is interesting.
Yeah.
So that's really what I tell people to sort of focus
You're good, man. You're good.
Another one, which is very important, which people don't talk about, consistency.
Yeah.
Be consistent too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like with podcasts, you got to always keep putting out content. out there, keep putting out shows.
How do you keep that fire
You
going?
keep that fire going.
Do
Yeah.
you have
I guess when you get the fire going, it's like it becomes natural.
So consistency is difficult. Yeah. It is paramount. But here's the thing I'll say about the word consistency, because that gets thrown around a lot. It is true that you need to be consistent, but a lot of people think about consistency as just putting out content.
Yeah.
And that's where people really get this whole thing messed up, because it's actually a lot more than that. The thing I tell people to be consistent about is you also need to be consistent with, because there's a lot of people that put out content all the time.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Right.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And I'm not trying to be
low quality stuff.
It's low quality stuff. And the thing is, like, I know it's hard. Like, it is hard to create actually good content. Like, I'm not trying to say like it's easy. But but the thing you need to also be consistent about that not enough people talk about is you need to be consistent about the back end stuff. You need to be consistent about taking a look at being like, okay, we've been plateauing at this number for so long. What can I do to change that? Setting up meetings between, like, for example, between the two of y'all, being like, okay, at the end of every month, we're going to take a look at our back end numbers and be like, okay, this episode did really well. Start to figure out, why did that episode did really well? Or this episode didn't do really good. Why didn't this episode do really good? We noticed that viewership falls off within the first 5 minutes of the video. Why is that happening? It's about like digging into all those back end things and not even just with numbers, but also like, what's it called? If it comes down to booking guests, for example, and stuff like that, being like, okay, we need to be consistent about, like, for example, let's say you bring on a guest every week or something like that, but the guests aren't hitting. Like, maybe you need to pick out different guests. Maybe you need to figure out who, like, these are all the sort of things you also need to be consistent about. So like so when people talk about that word consistency, I know plenty of people that put out content all the time, but they just stay exactly where they are, or they don't grow at all.
So it's basically quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity.
I hear that, Marvel. You hear that? You paying attention? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Get off your chest.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Someone said too, because we were doing like podcasts and we used to do hour shows, and someone said it's best to do like, the human being's attention span is very short, so you have to make the podcast,
especially today,
short and straight to the point. Do you believe in that? Having like,
I mean, I think that first,
what's the sweet spot? Like 25 minutes, half an hour?
Well, here's the thing. I have two responses to that, right? So it's funny you mention that, because like, I think the first minute of your podcast is the most crucial. The most crucial part is the most crucial part. I mean, this is something I've been preaching for almost since I started the studio. But like, there are plenty of people that also have been talking about this in terms of like, what's the hook at the beginning of the podcast, right? And hooks are really, really important. You have to be able to grab people's attention super fast. And granted, there's ways to do it in terms of doing it conversationally. Some people will take a clip, the most interesting clip from from the episode, and maybe put that on the front end as a teaser. Like that's I'll be honest with you,
that's a good way.
That's a very easy way a very easy way of going about doing it. But I would probably say even with that way, it doesn't absolve you of the responsibility of once the episode starts, because like, you could have a fire clip in the beginning, but then all of a sudden, when you gets into it, it just drags. Where we learned where you talk 5 minutes and it's just banter about X, Y, and Z, and I'm just like, if I don't know who you are, I don't care what you was doing last week.
That's a good point. That's a
don't care.
Great point.
Don't care. But to that point, that first like minute needs to be really compelling, and it needs to be something where you can get straight to the point. One easy way, because I don't like to just tell people like, hey, you need to make sure you emphasize this, but not tell you how to do it. There's many ways to do it. To be honest with you, also, I go over in the course, Be Heard Volume 1. But an easy way to go about doing it is literally just starting the episode with a story. What is a story?
Personalizing it.
What is a story? A story is a moment that is supposed to be interesting, or else you would never tell it, right? So why not just take something that is already inherently interesting and start with that? That's one of the easiest things.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest things you could do. So just start with the story. And sometimes, like, I'll even tell you, like, this one little tip, like, your story doesn't even have to be all that interesting sometimes. It could just be the who, what, when, where, why, when you came up with the idea for what you were going to talk about. Like, for example, I'm going to try to come up with this off the top of the dome. Like,
freestyling. Let's go. Freestyle.
Like, let's say I have like I probably have used this example in some iteration before. Like, let's say you have a health and wellness podcast, right? For lack of better words, and you want to talk about dieting. Let's just say right that. All right. So there's a coffee shop across the street, right? All right, cool. Blah 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 blah. Intro to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we hop into it today, I want to tell you guys what happened. Why I want to talk about what I want to talk about today. I was at the coffee shop earlier today, and I saw a kid there with his mom, and his mom was ordering him muffins, ordering him a croissant, ordering him what's it called, a latte, which I don't even know why you would order a kid a latte. Dumping in all the sugar. And I heard her complaining on the phone about how she can't get homeboy to lose weight. He's in karate class. He is in baseball. I seen him there. I seen him. She walked in with a baseball bat. He was in his kimono. and I didn't approach her, but what I wish I would have done was tell her, look, your son is doing all the activity in the world. He's fine. The problem is you, miss. The problem is his diet. So in today's episode, I want to talk about how we can clean up the diet. Because you can't outwork your way out of a bad diet.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's telling us, okay.
Did you study psychology? No, real talk. Like, I'm being serious because what you're doing is like you're programming you guys. You're programming them to kind of like pull them in. It's psychological. Did you go to school?
No, I mean it's just like I went to school. Like I went to school for audio engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, but I always had writing chops. So like so for me it's like I just always for lack of better words, like I know what's good. Like, and I've always just been like, okay, what is going to make, I just literally think about what is going to make the audience that I'm trying to attract or the person who I'm helping. What is it that's going to attract them to want to watch or listen to whatever it is that they're listening to?
Advice.
So like really focusing on that, if you always keep that in the front of your mind whenever you're planning your episodes, like it should work over time. And the other thing I should say is like too is like there are no overnight successes in this. I work with tons of podcasters, tons. Like like I'm not gonna go over all the accolades of the people in here or whatnot, but we've worked with plenty of great podcasts. So a lot of them who didn't even necessarily need my help and everything like that. But like I think people think that it's supposed to happen overnight, and it's not. It doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. Now there's some people like are there some people who like have like success like that and it happens for them really fast? Sure. But like those are few and far between. And to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10 when you actually look into their backstory, you're like, oh, there was a reason why they got off to a hot start. Like for example, like if you're a really well-known expert in a field that everybody in your field knows who you are, but you're not necessarily like a big celebrity or whatever, like you might not have huge numbers or anything like that, but you're reaching the exact people that you're trying to reach.
You have your audience.
You might have an audience. You might have an audience of, let's just say 500 people, which doesn't sound like a lot of people, but if it's 500 people of the right people that are locked in and tapped in and tuned in, that's all you need.
I get that.
You don't need million. I mean, this is also not an original idea or original thing either, but it's just true. You don't need 1 million followers. You don't need 1 million. You don't need 1 million fans.
A lot of people feel you got to look at the followers, subscribers, and that's how they rate your podcast.
Yeah, that's the currency.
And not to say that the more people that know about you obviously helps and stuff like that, but like the truth of the matter is, I mean, I can't remember the guy's name. I think his name is like Pat Flynn. He's also like a good. I mean, he has a podcast, but he's also like a YouTube guy, just a content, like one of those guys who's like a content expert.
Right.
And, I'm pretty sure he's talked about this. I think I got it from him where he was just like, you only need 100 people backing you to make, to really have something sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Any final thoughts? Because we had to wrap it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Real quick. I know, like your journey is phenomenal. I didn't even know
we could
that
sit down here
backstory,
talking for hours.
Yeah, we really could.
Yeah.
But I just want to know: was there a point in your path where you were like, "Oh, this is not," you got kind of discouraged?
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's a good question.
that's a really good question. I was my initial reaction was to say now. And it's not because I feel bad. In fact,
because you're on this podcast?
No.
I'm just checking.
No, I mean, like the reason why I say that has really nothing to do with podcasting, and has everything to do with being a quote unquote entrepreneur. And it's a word that I struggle with, because I jokingly tell everybody it sounds like a colonial word to me. Like it sounds like you're, Lewis and Clark sailing the ocean seas. You are an entrepreneur on your way to your church.
It does feel like
and
that.
I'm just like, yeah, we just own businesses. Like you're a business owner. So like I always feel more comfortable with that word. But I say all that to say, the thing about anybody, especially anybody who runs a business in New York City, it's hard. Nobody knows. No, it's a go. I walk in here. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love meeting people like you guys. I meet new people every day. I've met plenty of people. And I'm not going to name drop or anything, but I've met plenty of people who I thought in my life I would never get the chance to
That's
meet.
cool.
Wow.
That's cool.
I've met a lot of idols. I've met a lot of people.
That's cool.
I've met so many people. Found myself in rooms that I have no business being in, and way too broke to be in. Way too broke to be in. Trust me, if you're seeing my face right now, you make more money than I do. I guarantee you. Don't let the
mystery.
Don't let the studio fool you. But I say all that to say, the business owner / entrepreneurial journey, it's hard. It tests you in ways that it's tested me in ways that I couldn't have imagined. And I did it without really much mentorship. I have somebody that I kind of reach out to now who I was actually just talking to today, because we're going to be expanding the studio.
Shout out to that person. I think that's very important.
Actually, I'll shout him out. His name's Gene Dunn.
Please do. Yeah.
His name is Gene Dunn. He runs what's the name of his karate school? But he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and karate. He owns a bunch of martial arts school. I believe it's called like Dunn. I think it's, if you just Google Gene Dunn, you'll find him. Not only is he a great instructor, which I've never been down to his classes, but he has plenty of people that can vouch for him there. But he's just one of the best human beings I've ever met. But he's opened multiple locations, so he's been very instrumental in helping me just sort of navigate just a lot of it, just the mental of running a business in New York City, especially one that's as hands-on and people, you have to be with people, and understand that everybody's got different needs, everybody's got different goals, and being able to be sort of whatever somebody needs you to be. Sometimes people need me to just be an audio engineer, and that's fine. Sometimes people need me to help them with their content,
or be a guest,
or in this case, like be a guest. Like I'm a person that's here to serve. Like I'm here to help people in whatever capacity that they need. You guys needed an extra 30 minutes.
I gave you. Come on, plug your stuff, man. What?
I give you. I was like, I'll give you guys 30 minutes here. So.
Love that, man.
Yeah, but the hardest part. What's it called? I'd probably say just the hardest part has just been the mental of. I mean, there's been so many. I can't even begin to. Tell you all the things that have happened to me into the studio. Like we had a fire in the original location. This is not the original location. This is not the original location. Even though like this has been the original location was only open for 3 weeks, and we had a fire in that original location. Was it bigger than this one? Was it? It's about the same size. It was a little bit. I think it was a little bit smaller. And then we had a flood in here at some point in time in the middle of the session. Yeah, so
that would be so disheartening.
So that's crazy. We've had that happen. We've had a few things happen with clients that I won't get into, but like nothing like crazy or nefarious or anything like that. But it's just like no fights. Nobody
throwing up.
No, yeah. I mean, maybe. But like but like there's. Yeah, that's happened.
The stories these walls could talk.
Yeah, but like I got stories for days, and we got to wrap up. But like, there's so many things there's so many stories here that I could tell.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Let us know
Yeah,
they
please
can find
plug your
you,
stuff.
everything.
Please.
Plug your stuff.
Everything. Your
All right.
all that.
So like if you're in the New York City area, it's simple. We've been here since 2018. It's brooklynpodcastingstudio.com. We're about to open up a second space, hopefully in the next couple of months here.
Nice,
Not to date the episode, but we're like towards the middle of the summertime. So hopefully we'll have it in early fall. We're gonna have a second location. If you need help with your podcast, you can go to brooklynpodcastingstudio.com. There is a link there. If I can remember it, which I can't, which I should, but I was not prepared, nor did I know what I was doing.
We got to call him off guard. It was a surprise. We're freestyling. We're freestyling.
But if you go in the menu, there is a help. There's a help. I believe there's a help thing in the menu. You can click that. Not only can you get a whole bunch of free information there to help you on your podcast journey, but you can also find a link to my course there as well. It's very comprehensive. It is not a fluff course. I believe it is like 3.5 hours long, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So like, I literally tried to dump everything that I knew into that course, and there's going to be a 2.0 version, an updated version coming hopefully in the fall as well. So, and if you end up buying that course, right, if you end up buying the current version of the course, you'll get, you'll get the new one for free.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think knowledge is that, especially knowledge that you coming from you. Unbeatable. Love that.
Real quick, anyone tell you look like Jahil White?
I got one better for you.
What?
Everyone says I look like was Marcus Jordan.
Oh, Marcus Houston.
Who's that?
No.
Jordan?
I think his name's what's it called? Everyone says I look like Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, Michael Jordan. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know how you look. Oh, I know.
And I'm not gonna
somewhere. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie.
Mike, you do. Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Michael
lie.
Jordan's son.
I had no idea who this man was.
Yeah, he is. He's always in trouble.
Yeah. I had
is he?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Driving with coked up and everything like that.
Oh, sweat.
He Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's
His wife. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
All
Yeah,
right.
but we look exactly alike.
I know.
I ain't gonna lie.
We look exactly done. All right. Thanks for my brother from coming on the show.
Yeah,
Josh, thank you, man. That was
appreciate
awesome.
you,
Thank
man.
you. Sorry for my sweaty hands.
No, all good. I'll judge you for it later.
This wraps up another episode of Face to Space Reloaded. Yours truly, Nessa Can, alongside Caprice Rogers. Remember to keep the peace, keep the love, and stay focused.